Hello everyone, my name is Reverend Street from Mount Sinai Baptist Church, and it has been an honor to be a part of the Wesley Innovation Hub. Truly want to thank everyone involved in helping make this project a success. All of the check-ins, all of the spaces, all of the gatherings have really helped our church community think through what it means to engage young adults in 2020. We've had to pivot a bit. And so if I would describe young adult ministry in this season of COVID, I would say that our ministry has been like water. Bruce Lee has an amazing analogy of what water is. He says sometimes water can be overpowering. And that's exactly how it felt when we did our voter registration drive. It felt like we had such power and enthusiasm with bringing people out to get them registered to vote and to make sure that people were being civically engaged as we continue to wrestle with liberation theology and being the hands and feet of Jesus in our community. Then there are times where it was just like a little trickle. We would have Bible studies and invite people and probably only get 3 or 4 people to attend our virtual Bible studies. Then there were other times it was refreshing. There were moments where we brought in new types of speakers to really talk about issues that young adults in the community wanted to have addressed. Issues like workforce development, issues like entrepreneurism. These are things that resonate a lot with young adults, and we spoke to. So it had a refreshing feel to it. There were also times where, if I'm being honest, it felt like we were kind of frozen. We were kind of stuck. And that's probably at the beginning of COVID, how our ministry and every other ministry in this country pretty much felt. It's that we were stuck. We couldn't do anything. We couldn't move. And so I would wrap it up by saying that our ministry will use the Bruce Lee analogy of being water. At times we were overpowering. At times we were refreshing. At times we were just a little trickle. And at times we were kind of stopped hard. But I do thank God that we were able to go through this year because innovations have happened, relationships were forged, and I know the Lord was pleased. So again, thank you guys so much for this opportunity to really be in your space. We're going to leave you now with some images, some sights and sounds of some of our projects, as well as some upcoming ventures. We've been highlighting businesses in our community who've been impacted by COVID-19. So stay tuned just to kind of get a taste and a flavor of some of the things that our ministry was able to do. Again, thank you and God bless you all.
If you don't like what your pitch looked like before, then just change it and continue to change it until you're comfortable with it. And remember, read your pitch before each email you send, before each person you connect with. Even if you copy and paste to save a little bit of time, or read it before you send it, because it's really hard to come back. When people call me, hey, Jason, it's great. Hey, Jazabear, and like, hey, who? Like, it just decreases the likelihood that I'll respond, even if they really have the best intention.
So I was storytelling, which was ultimately building up my personal brand. So fast forward to when I found the opportunity on Twitter for the sports agency, I had a ton of pictures that backed up my work experience, and I had the degrees, and I did a pretty good interview for them when I had to create some content and a mock organization for one of their athletes. And this was kind of another telling thing, is that they wanted me to basically create a nonprofit initiative for one of their athletes as the interview process. And so I had to create it and I had to pitch it. And I had no idea that one day I would create my own nonprofit and understand how that would work in the community that I live and work in. But it's funny how God leaves crumbs throughout your journey to lead you to where you're supposed to be.
You know, when you have a relationship with someone, oftentimes you will develop a trust and familiarity with that person or with that group that informs your decision on how these people move or how this person will respond to certain situations. And that's the same thing with God. When you have a relationship with Him, when you have an understanding with Him, you know things that will move God. So So when it comes to seeing a mighty God, the question we have to step back and ask ourselves is, what will move God to show his might in my life?